Hello again, everyone, and welcome to our high school football preview show. It is an all Southwest Conference week here on the sister stations on 880 KRVN. Tyler Cavalli, Gene Curtis, you're going to be doing Cozad and Broken Bow. I will be joining up with Jerry Wiggins as we go to the Great White North and Valentine as the Badgers and Swedes battle up there. Let's talk about your game first. Cozad, Broken Bow. This is a great old Southwest Conference matchup. And for Broken Bow, they're coming off a big win last week against Gothenburg.
Broken Bow really controls their own destiny coming into the game against Cozad. They have to win these next three, Cozad, Ord, and Valentine, if they want to get into the playoffs. They got a really tough conference there. O'Neill, who was undefeated, beat them 2 weeks ago. This is kind of a must-win for them, first of all, to beat Cozad on Friday night. But Cozad, and for the Haymaker faithful, not used to only one win this season, especially head coach Brian Cargill. What he said came into the season with only 2 losses overall. Cozad graduating quite a big group of talent last year, and some of those younger players having to fill in this year. But, of course, the way Cozad's played every single game this season, they put out a great effort, and I don't think that they will be any different on the road against Broken Bow. But it'll be a good Southwest Conference matchup.
Well, it's interesting. You've alluded to this, but not only is it Southwest Conference, but it's C1 District 7. All of these teams are in the same district. And in C1, only 16 teams make it to the playoffs. And so if you lose in your district, you're in trouble. You need to win out, as you mentioned, with Broken Bow.
Well, and that's exactly with Broken Bow losing to O'Neill, and who's been, kind of running the table from here on out. They play Ord on Friday, so that's a big game that we'll kind of be watching. I'm sure the Broken Bow faithful will be watching to see who knocks each other out, because if Ord beats them, then all really Broken Bow has to do is kind of beat Ord, and then they kind of control their destiny. But it's a big game. And I guess also another note to pass along as well, Broken Bow hasn't beat Cozad since 2010.
That's interesting. Well, another team that'll be watching that O'Neill-Ord game is Gothenburg. They actually come into this is the 17th seed in power points because they've played a really tough schedule to this point. So they kind of have a chance to control their destiny too. They've got to win out. They can use some help from some other teams, but they still have a chance as they travel up north to Valentine. Now, this is going to be an offensive optional game. Both teams have struggled offensively. In fact, Valentine has been shut out in their last 3 games. Now, these weren't slouches. They lost to O'Neill and Ord. They shut both of those teams shut them out, and then winner South Dakota, which is one of the best teams in South Dakota. So it hasn't been easy for the Badgers, and an awful lot of young guys for second-year coach Blake Bebout. Gothenburg comes in. They struggled last week. We're beating Broken Bow into the fourth quarter before Broken Bow came back and won that game. So they're looking for a spark. They're looking for some offense, and they're hoping that going to Valentine will help them. Gothenburg is a team that, over the history of Coach Craig Hinkey coaching them, that they have played their best ball at the end of the season. They need to do that now if they have a chance. So that game should be a whole lot of fun. That's on 93.1 The River. Myself, Jerry Wiggins, with a call on that one. Tyler Cavalli again, and Gene Curtis over on 880 KRVN getting ready to call the Cozad Broken Bow game. Should be a lot of fun. I suppose we have to talk Nebraska again, and you called it. I didn't like it. I didn't think you would possibly be right, but you called Illinois beating the Huskers. I think you said 2 touchdowns, but we won't talk about that.
Right, the point spread not quite exactly what we were thinking, but yeah, maybe something I probably should have been wrong, honestly, last week. But Nebraska I was talking about earlier this week. They actually are favored coming in to beat Wisconsin at home. For me, that's a little hard to believe that they actually will do that. I hope I'm wrong, but I see Wisconsin winning by 10 in Memorial Stadium.
Wow. Well, Wisconsin's really beat up too. They've got their running backs hurt. They've got a bunch of guys on the offensive line that are walk-ons playing for the first time last week. They struggled against Iowa. I want to believe that Mike Riley and Danny Lansdorf and Mike Banker can right the ship this week. I've been saying that, I think, for 3 weeks now. I'm going to go ahead and say Nebraska can get a win here today. I think they're going to get a win this week. I think they're going to surprise some people and beat Wisconsin and get some of the monkeys off their back. I think we both agree that that's what we'd like to see. So
Much needed for sure. Much needed win for sure. But
a tough week for Nebraska football, no doubt about it. We're hoping for better things. Well, that's going to do it for our football pregame show. Be listening to us here on the sister stations. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Pregame at 6:35 for both games. Thank you so much. Have a great week.